Hey y'all, my name is Julie Caruso, and I had the project management and the site categories for this project. Within project management, I have acquire building and grading permits, procure long lead times, submittals, order materials, and to set up the trailer, temp facilities, and fences. I put all of these in project management. It basically gets the project started, has all of the paperwork done and out of the way. Within site, I have clear and grub, grading and excavation, removal of excavated materials, site survey, and soil testing. This is to prep the site for future construction and make sure that everything is good on that end before you start the slab. And then within extra activities, I put hire and insure labor. That is, for the rest of the project to make sure we have people to, I guess, finish out the project. And then you also have proof roll. Written in the addendum, it says you're supposed to have a 25-ton dump truck proof roll the entire site. So I put that as an activity within the sites list.
Hello, my name is Jason Aladdin. I've covered the superstructure and substructure. In the substructure, I included all the footings and I did not include all the civil work that goes underneath or through the footings. But there should be a heavy coordination between the civil work and the footings when they're installed, knowing that sometimes because of the slope pipes it hits the foundation or maybe under. So that being said, that's gonna be part of the coordination aspect of things. But practically, what I included is the excavation, and then the rebars, form work. Before the rebars, we put the installation as required in the specs, and then the drawings that were provided, and then put the form work. We set up the rebars and all the anchor bolts and modulars that needs to be in the concrete before we pour concrete, just to avoid drilling and epoxying all the anchor bolts. So that's when it comes to substructure. So going up to the superstructure, uh, we have steel columns, and then we have included in the superstructure all the metal studs, the gypsum board, Tyvek insulation as well. And then on top of that, there's two different type of exterior. You have the bricks and you have the stucco. Uh, as it shows in the drawings, there's two different spots where sometimes you need the bricks and the other time you need stucco with the details. I didn't list all the details, we just said stucco and bricks, but there's plenty activities under each one of those. And then when it comes to roofing, it's gonna be beams, and then after the beams, it's gonna be metal studs, metal sheeting, and then insulation, plywood, and then water membrane, EPDM type of roofing.
Hi everyone, this is Brandon Anderson's submission for Project 1 as I had electrical, mechanical, and plumbing as well as special equipment. So for electrical, we had to acquire electrical permits and we had our subcontractor complete the electrical installation per the project manual. We also tested the electrical system's functionality. Mechanical was very similar, with the exception of having to order insulation and materials and install the insulation. We also had our subcontractor install the HVAC, and we tested the HVAC and heat system for functionality. Plumbing wise, we had our subcontractor complete the rough in. Once the rough in was completed, we had them also do the final install for the plumbing. We test function the plumbing and hot water system as well as the wastewater system to ensure proper functionality. For special equipment, there was some odd things there. With it being a bank, we're completing the bank installation package, which would consist of vaults, cash, under cash registers, locking, as well as the drive-through tubes for access. So all that is being completed by the general contractor. So that was something that we were going to be doing instead of a subcontractor.
Hi, I'm Hayes Barber, and I did two pieces for our project, both the interior construction and the signage. So walking through that interior construction first, I divided that up into some pretty obvious sections. So that's going to be frame interior walls for one, hang drywall for two, build interior ceilings or hang the ceilings as the third one. For the fourth one, install interior doors and frames according to schedule. followed by paint interior walls according to schedule. Now, I did separate out install ceramic tile according to finish schedule, because that's also going to be a wall finishing that we use, but I'm just putting that as a separate activity because we might do that separate from the painting. Install flooring, install millwork. Now, that flooring and the millwork are going to be based on the blueprints. The flooring, there's carpet and different flooring options needed. And then the millwork, that's going to be all of the shelves, cabinets, etc. That were listed out. Installing countertops. So the estimate did include some solid countertops. So those are going to be ordered and installed separately from the millwork. Did the interior cleaning, and I included that as a last step. Obviously, there are a lot more activities that you can include with the interior construction. I just focused on 10 basic ones. And that interior cleanup is going to be really important because we want to make sure that with all of the subcontractors that are moving through the space, we get out all of our debris, all of our excess cleaning equipment, so we're turning over a nice product. With the interior construction, just kind of looking ahead, and as I was going through this, thinking about this, these activities are going to work very closely with mechanical, electrical, and plumbing schedules. So those will need to be scheduled out accordingly as we move forward. For signage, this was definitely a little different, especially coming up with 10 separate activities. So I broke this up down into a lot of sub parts. So we have the exterior signage, and that's going to include like the big name of the bank outside, the obvious things that you think of, parking signage, fire exit signage, plaques, and then metal lettering. Those were included in the estimate, so I know they're included in the build. I didn't get into specific purposes, but just each of those are going to be a separate activity to put in as requested. Bathroom signage, so specific signage for the bathroom, which one's the men's room, which one's the women's room. Drive-through signage, glass lettering, and then the final two were for MEP, so mechanical and electrical included as one, and then plumbing as a separate. And that's going to be the signage that is appropriate for all the equipment that we're installing, that's both safety information but also use information. So like for plumbing, it might be the appropriate way to set up the plumbing system in case anyone comes back later for repairs. So all that's going to be make sure it's installed for future use.
Hello, my name is Sam Bennett. Today for our group I'll be doing the landscaping portion as well as the driveways, pavement, parking. I've split them up into a few activities. The first for landscaping would be preparation of planting the soil. Second would be preparation of planting the lawns. This is really just getting the areas ready to go, making sure there's nothing in the way to plant the actual landscaping. Next would be reconditioning of the existing lawns, which is just to make sure that damaged areas by contractors gets fixed. Next we have cleanup and protection, which is to essentially keep the pavements clean, protect the landscape work, materials from damage by other contractors, repairs as needed. Next is the inspection acceptance, so an architect will come back and inspect, determine acceptability. We're going to move on to driveways and parking. So at the very beginning, you're going to have your driveway pavement design. So an architect and engineer will coordinate that to make sure it meets drainage and grade requirements. Next, we're going to have our delivery and coordination of the material. Next is form work for all the driveways, sidewalks, and curbs. Then we have our steel work, which includes our rebar in the formwork to prep for the concrete. We're going to pour our concrete, and then next everything is going to be inspected by the architecture engineer or the inspector to confirm a successful installation.